Hey all, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this one we're going to be doing an early game overpowered Night Mage guide, so be sure to check this one out. If you're new to the game, this should help you out a lot, and first things first, we're going to pick the Samurai starting class. The reason I'm picking the Samurai is because dexterity is good for pretty much any build, and we're going to start with a bleed weapon, which will allow us to do a certain farm that's going to help us later. Unlike my normal videos, I'm not going to talk the entire time, but at the beginning of each part, and everything will be time-stamped for convenience. That being said, one thing to note real quick is definitely pick up the maps along the way. It'll help you immensely. That being said, I didn't cut out much, so this should be really easy for you to follow along if you're new. Just continue to watch the video and follow step by step, and everything is timestamped. After you get out of the dungeon in the beginning, and if you choose to do the tutorial or not, you'll end up out here. From this point on, just follow me to Gatefront. That's where we're going to be starting the video. You can pretty much follow me at this point. I'm going to go all the way up there, and you're going to meet with Melina there, who's going to give you your horse, Torrent.
You're a Tarn, and I can also that you're not after. Then wine, I am Karl. Goodbye.
After we have our horse, I'll show you how to equip it here. You just go to your menu and you're going to equip the Spectral Steed. We're going to jump on our horse and we're going to head to the Ravine in Agil Lake. Now, this is going to take a little bit of time to show this. I usually fight this guy on my own. However, I want to show you that you can wait for help, although he does take a long time to get here. But if you continue just to basically wait around and dodge this NPC Invader, Hunter Yura will come to your assistance and make the fight a little bit easier.
If it isn't Nereus, the bloody finger, the end is nigh. cesspool.
To a man's personal belongings, huh? You scheming little thief. The gods
After that, enter the cave. You're going to go to the right, and then you're going to fight Patches, but do not kill him. You're going to have him surrender because we're going to be buying gold pickled foul foot from him.
Wait, please. I surrender. White flag and all. Well, finally come round, have you? I knew you would. You're a man of reason. True and true. Well, what do you... Now, how did... I took you for an innocent... Well, water up... A true man. I'm tarnished, like... Only for now. In exchange for... But honestly, frankly... So don't be... I'll be ready to wheel and deal. No, I'll be ready to... Well, nice is all a bit and welcome. You won't need it. Cheers for that.
After you grab a couple of those, and keep in mind Margit's Shackle, you're going to probably want that item for later. That will stun the first boss. We're going to take the Transporter Trap, and that's going to bring us near the second map in Limgrave. Be sure to grab the Wondrous Physic as we're going to be heading up towards Caelid now. This is very easy, but from Rotview balcony, by the way, hang to the right as you're going up towards Rotview balcony, but when you get there, just continue to follow me on screen. We're going to be heading to Dragon Barrow where we can farm some levels. Okay, once we get here, you're just going to go and attack this dragon, and once the dying animation on the dragon starts, what's going to happen is you're going to ready your horse up, and you're going to immediately go back to the site of grace behind it and rest as quickly as you can, and you can cheese this dragon and to continue to farm runes from the same dragon over and over again. Takes about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm not going to show all of that, but this is how it ends at the end here. Once you get towards the end of the dragon, you want to use the gold pickled foul foot so you can get even more runes out of this, and then once you get that last hit, that final hit on the dragon, book it back to the grace and rest as quickly as possible. Also, make sure Melina takes you back to the round table hold before you go to this grace for the first time when cheesing the dragon, as that animation may end up being too long and the dragon may die in the process, so do that beforehand. And to clarify, the only thing that you have to do in order to do that is rest at any site of grace in Caelid. Follow me on screen as we're going to be looking for a specific type of build, since we're going for the Night Mage and we need 38 intelligence as we farm the dragon 3 to 4 times, and follow each of the levels on screen and you will be set. And as we kill the dragon a second time, you can follow the levels on screen again and continue to follow the build and setup that we'll need to run Night Comet early. And for the third time here on screen again, we're going to be leveling up intelligence up to 30. Now, the last time here, you're going to see me destroy the dragon finally for the last time for the fourth time, and then you can follow on screen as I level up the final time. You'll get a little bit more runes when you finally let him die completely. After about level 50 or so, you can naturally level up through the game fairly easily. And as you can see, we're pumping up intelligence all the way up to 38 because we need 38 intelligence to run Night Comet. After this, I'm going to show on screen, by the way, how much time it's taken us to get to this point, and we are level 51 just 40 minutes into the game. Now we need the meteorite staff because that's going to be fantastic for us. So head back to Rotview balcony, you've been there before, and follow me on screen here in Caelid. We're going to be taking a ride down towards the swamps. As always, grab the maps. There is an icon on screen that will show you where the map is when you get close to it. Make sure you pick it up because it's easier to follow along as we go, and we're going to head officially now down towards the swamp so we can grab the meteorite staff and then eventually Night Comet and the Staff of Loss. And follow me on screen to grab the meteorite staff. This was actually the only time I had died during this initial intro run. It's because I tried to clear out the enemies in the swamp. I ended up getting rotted and didn't notice it, and I ended up getting killed in the process. But anyways, I ran back here from the Site of Grace to grab the meteorite staff. This one doesn't have to be leveled up. It's fantastic for that. You don't have to upgrade it, essentially. It's going to scale with our 38 intelligence right here and right now, which is going to be really beneficial for us to start out. Now, check out the map as to where I am now. I ended up in this town over here on the top right. I didn't want to run through the swamp because I got lost a little bit, so I ended up showing you on the map here. This is where we're going to go next because this is going to be Night Comet and where we get the Staff of Loss. Just trying to speed things along a little bit. By the way, there's a really cool summon that you can grab over here in the Rotten Stray Ashes. They're not bad at all, and that dog can actually get rot build up on bosses, so be sure to grab that one too. Next step from this grace, I want you to follow me exactly. We're going to be lighting the fires above on the rooftops, and we're going to be grabbing the Staff of Loss too, because it's on it's actually below one of the rooftops up there on a balcony. We're going to nab that too, and that's going to be our second staff for our offhand for the passive boost it has, and we're going to light the fires so we can grab Night Comet. Now that the fires are lit, be sure to grab Night Comet. It is not far from that initial site of grace in the town. Right here in this chest, we're going to pick up the best spell, in my opinion, in the entire game of Elden Ring all the way through the end game. If you want to check out how I end up equipping everything, we're going to have the Meteorite Staff in our main hand. The offhand Staff of Loss will give us a 30% boost to Night Comet. The Meteorite Staff scales better for now. We're going to memorize Night Comet, put that slotted in, and there we have it, our build and setup. And back to Gatefront. From this point, follow me here. We're going to be moving up towards Stormveil Castle. We're going to stop here real quick to allocate our flasks. This way we have 3 health flasks if you started with the golden seed, and 3 of the FP flasks as well. And then we're going to be grabbing one more item before we take on the first boss. Now I'm just going to show this on the map real quick. We're going to be grabbing the Golden Vow Ash of War. It's not far from the site of grace that I was just at. All you have to do is take on this knight. He should just take a couple of casts of Night Comet. Once he goes down, there he is on the map on that cliff. We're going to grab the Golden Vow Ash of War for our buff. And then we're going to go back to the round table hold to grab a dagger and put the Ash of War on the dagger so we can have a light weapon that allows us to use that buff, which will give us more damage and more defense for 40 seconds.
You're no match loud, you're...
Now we're going to go back to Stormhill Shack and follow me on screen here. We're going to be taking on the first boss of Elden Ring soon here, very shortly. We're going to do a very good amount of damage too. Wait till you check this out. We're going to be taking on Margit. Make sure you equip your dagger and use the Golden Vow Ash of War for the extra buff, and then fill up your FP, and then we're going to be going into the fight to take on Margit. If you have Margit's Shackle, it's going to be very helpful here.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins. Tarnished.
And the entire fight took around 40 seconds with no summons whatsoever. Yeah, we're a little over leveled to go into Stormville Castle. You'd probably be between level 30 and 40 when you're taking on these bosses for the first time. That being said, though, Night Comet is always impressive. An hour in, we're at level 51, and Margit is down. I'm not going to run through the entire bit of Stormville. I'm going to let you explore that yourself. It's one of the best dungeons in the entire game. Elden Ring has a fairly decent amount of locations that are just awesome, and Stormville is no exception. It's a really cool place. That being said, if you run into trouble with this Night Comet should be something that could take on this Night fairly easily. If he does that leaping jump, you can dodge him, just roll into it, and yeah, it has a decent dodge window, and then take him down with a couple hits of Night Comet. Grab that key and move on. And then we get to show off the build on Godrick as well, who I always find a little bit easier than Margit. Maybe that's just me, but I think Godrick's moveset is a little bit more forgiving. That being said, the damage again is quite impressive at this level, and basically with no upgrades whatsoever to any of our staffs.
I am the Lord of all that is golden, and one day we'll return together to our home, bathed.
I hope this build was helpful. At the end here, by the way, I am going to go over two things real quick that we did miss along the way. If you were looking for summons and whatnot, I'll explain that real quick. And one other thing on how to upgrade stuff early. That being said, it all turned out really well. I like using the Meteorite Staff and the Staff of Loss in the offhand. And you can see an hour and 10 minutes in, we're level 51 and we've gone through Stormville. I'm going to show on the map real quick. That's where we're at now. You can go back to this church here. If Ronnie's not there to grab the bell for the summons, you can get it back at the Round Table Hold. And one other thing to note is in Agheel Lake, once you're at Agheel Lake, which we've already went up the ravine before, there's this area right here where you can grab your first upgrade materials that has a bunch of smithing stone ones that you could use right there, that cave in the lake. If this helped you, definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel. I didn't talk through this whole thing. I have another video that's coming out after this one, but I ended up picking up a cold this past week. Haven't really felt the best, so I decided to do it this way instead. I hope everybody can appreciate that. It should have been fairly easy to follow through. That being said, if you want to see a part 2 for the mid-game where we could turn Night Comet into something really good, grab our first talismans, Terra Magica, all that, let me know, and we will do a part 2 as well. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.